Look at this video of a steel wheel scoring a thick sheet of glass. Put your safety glasses on, because this is our starting point. We do not cut glass in this industry. We control a microscopic fracture. I am going to walk you through the exact physics of preparing a fiber optic strand so you can execute a perfect 90-degree end face. Master this sequence, and your splices will pass an OTDR test on the very first try. An OTDR is an optical time domain reflectometer, an instrument that fires laser pulses down the fiber to measure light loss and pinpoint faults. When a precision cleaver fails to snap the fiber, technicians usually reach for a hex key to raise the blade height. Leave the tool alone. The cleaver is factory calibrated. Tool failure almost always comes down to the hidden material physics of the fiber itself. If you accept near enough workmanship during preparation, a fusion splicer will reject your work. We are dealing with tolerances measured in microns, and sloppy preparation guarantees catastrophic signal failure in a high-speed network. Step 1 is understanding our raw materials. A standard assembly consists of the outer colored jacket, the fibrous aramid strength members, and the internal tight buffer layers protecting the glass. We start by stripping back the outer jacket. Once that is out of the way, use your dedicated Kevlar shears to cleanly snip away the aramid strength fibers to clear your workspace. Next, grab your 3-hole stripper. Use the middle hole to remove the 900-micron tight buffer. Do not try to yank it all off at once. Take small 30 to 40 millimeter nibbles to pull the buffer off cleanly without snapping the glass inside. Now we move to the final, smallest hole on the stripper. Clamp down and smoothly slide off the 250-micron acrylate coating to expose the inner cladding. A cladding is the outer optical layer of the glass that physically traps the light inside the core. If you rush this multi-step stripping sequence and attempt to strip all the layers at once, you will leave microscopic physical debris on the glass. That debris compromises the exact geometric tolerances required for the final fracture. Now we face the primary reason your precision cleaver fails to trigger a cut. Sitting directly on top of that newly exposed cladding is a microscopic, highly transparent layer of waxy silicone. It acts as a slip layer for the buffer, but it will block a cleaver blade entirely. To remove it, we use the triple strip method. Run the smallest hole over the bare cladding a second and a third time. You must aggressively scrape away this stubborn, waxy residue. Mechanical scraping is not enough. Apply specialized prep fluid to a lint-free wipe. Pinch the stripped fiber inside the wipe, apply firm pressure, and draw it straight away from the colored jacket. You're listening for specific audio feedback. When you pull the wipe, you should hear a high-pitched friction squeak. That tactile and audible squeak is your confirmation that the glass is entirely stripped of the silicone slip layer. Pro tip: clean before you cleave, never after. Introducing a wipe to a freshly cleaved end face will ruin the perfect geometry we are about to create. With our fiber perfectly clean, we move to the cleaver. Notice that the stripped glass has a natural slight downward bend. Use that curve to your advantage by placing the bend facing downward in the holding channel so the fiber seats itself naturally. Align the edge of the colored tight buffer exactly at the 16 millimeter mark on the cleaver's measurement scale. This sets the precise length of bare glass required for the splicer. Look at the mechanics inside the cleaver. Closing the top shutter clamps the fiber firmly, applying outward structural tension. The blade carriage doesn't chop. It introduces a microscopic 90-degree nick. Pulled outward, that single nick instantly propagates a perfectly vertical crack upward through the core. Listen to the tool. A clean, successful fracture produces a crisp tink sound. If you hear a dull mechanical crunch, your blade just struck the leftover waxy silicone and your cleave has failed. Immediately after the fracture, safely remove the severed, invisible glass shard from the anvil and place it directly into a dedicated sharps disposal container. A perfect cleave is an unstoppable mechanical chain reaction. It relies entirely on pre-existing outward tension pulling the glass apart from a single microscopic score, rather than downward cutting force. For single-mode fiber, the tolerances are merciless. The light-carrying core is only 9 microns wide. A cleave with a microscopic 1-degree angle error will completely misalign the cores in the fusion splicer, resulting in massive signal loss. The stakes escalate when preparing multi-strand ribbon fiber, such as an MPO connector. Here, we must achieve strict planarity. Planarity is the physical alignment of multiple fiber ends along a single, perfectly flat plane. In a 12-strand ribbon block, if an uneven cleave leaves just one single strand 5 microns shorter than the rest, it creates a staircase effect. That tiny physical gap prevents the entire 12-strand array from mating properly, causing the whole block to fail. Achieving perfect perpendicular geometry at the microscopic level is your only defense. The Fusion Splicer cameras measure this angle, and if it exceeds tolerance, it completely rejects your work. Now let's address the mechanical connector trap. If you execute a bad, jagged cleave and insert it into a mechanical quick connector, a standard VFL test might still show a glowing light at the other end. A VFL is a visual fault locator, a high-powered visible red laser used to trace physical fiber paths. This diagram shows why the VFL lies. Mechanical connectors contain index-matching gel, sharing the exact optical density of the core. The gel completely fills the irregular gaps of a jagged cleave, allowing red light through, but causing massive optical return loss as light reflects backward. A VFL test confirms the mere presence of light. Only a perfectly flat 90-degree fracture prevents invisible back reflections that permanently blind high-speed network transceivers. We now have a completed, perfectly cleaved 16mm fiber. The end face geometry is absolutely perpendicular, and the surface state is pristine and untouched. Your success relies on 3 non-negotiable pillars. Clear away the invisible wax layer, listen for the friction squeak during cleaning, and rely strictly on horizontal tension instead of adjusting the blade height. Environmental dust is your enemy. Immediately transition this perfectly prepared, sensitive fiber into the Fusion Splicer, or OTDR, testing phase before airborne particles have a chance to settle on the end face. Finally, keep your safety glasses on until the entire physical workspace is swept clear of microscopic glass hazards. Precision work requires discipline from the first strip to the final sweep.